What is up? Good morning, gamers. How you doing? Welcome to the gym. Thank you so much for being here. Good day to you all. Good day, good day. Oh, it is a lovely Wednesday here in Akron, Ohio, where it snowed a few inches last night. Oh, yeah. You know, I was just thinking to myself, I was just thinking to myself, am I in focus? I really can't. I can't see squat. Cool. I don't think Paradox Rift is on TCG Live. No, we're just here. We're just here in the Hexagon dimension, hanging out, having a good time. All right. Well, we had trick or treating. We did trick or treating on Saturday. Our neighborhood did trick or treating early, and it usually does. I think the vibe for our local area is to do trick or treating like the Saturday before Halloween, which is cool because then everybody's like free, you know. So that's what we did, and you know, so that was cool. And it was great because the weather was good on Saturday. Like, really nice, actually. But then, it snowed last night. So we got a few inches. And now it's freezing. And, but thankfully we didn't, didn't interfere with any of the Halloween activities. Yeah. So I was just thinking a couple days ago that, like, dang, some years we get a snow before Halloween, and that's how I always know it's a messed up year. If we get snow before Halloween, that's messed up. It's not supposed to happen like that, okay? But, and then this year I was like, yeah, there's no way it's going to snow before Halloween this year, and sure enough, it snows on Halloween this year. So, yeah, I didn't even, like, barely get any of the leaves, kind of done, and now they're covered in snow. So hopefully, yeah, I could still get those cleaned up. If not, well, guess they're down for the winter. Oh well, that's fine. So hopefully you all got to watch Pig Chef's amazing new video. I know I'm very biased, but Pig Chef was really cooking with this one. He did a great job. Definitely go watch it. This clip is... there he is. There's my man. The pig. Yes. He did such an amazing job with this video. I'm very proud of him. I mean, he's such a creative young man, and he's it's so exciting to get to see someone who's kind of like, at that point in their life where they're kind of like figuring things out and figuring out who they are as a creative person, and going through all that. It's just it's exciting, and I'm happy for him, and proud of him, and all that. So hopefully you got a chance to watch it if you have not already. It went live this morning at 9 a.m. Eastern. We did do a group watch of the video yesterday on stream, and yeah, it's a really special piece, so definitely recommend checking that out. If you have not watched it yet, mark it and check it out later. Pig Chef is the editor for all of the tabletop videos that I do here on Tricky Gym. And yes, Jake, I did see you represented as an anime girl. I saw your cameo. Yes, I did. It was wonderful, Jake. It was wonderful. But yes, it's filled with funny jokes and Tricky Gym lore, Pig Chef lore. I mean, just how fun is that? It was really and also tons of references to the Pokémon TCG Live, the greatest game ever created. Look at that. Yes. All the wonderful backgrounds, and then even towards the end, there's like the I think the brick wall is like even a reference to like this brick wall, right? Which is hilarious. He's got his little couch with the brick wall and the brick floor. So like this is all brick. Yeah. Yeah, that's sick. The Full Grip Games mini game. Yes, the Full Grip Games mini game. Oh yeah, the intro montage. I mean, it's all hilarious. He's really I gotta get him a different picture, a different blank picture of my studio, because I think this is the only blank picture of my studio that he has. So whenever he needs to like whenever he needs to do like you know, like an animated picture of me over a blank background, this is the picture he picks because it's like the one he has of me, of like just the chair with nothing else in it. But good God, I mean, come on, the ladder looks the ladder looks extremely vacant. I'm gonna have to just get him something nicer so that he can use, but it's also kind of charming and funny. So yes, very very funny piece. Definitely recommend checking that out if you have not already. And we got the TCG Live. Oh baby, Paradox Rift is gonna be out on the Pokemon TCG Live tomorrow. Does anybody know? Oh, the kickflip fall explosion? Yes, for sure. Does anybody know what time the set goes live on live tomorrow? Is it supposed to be like 1 p.m.? Is it today? Is it today? Or is it tomorrow? There's no way it's today. (1 p.m. EDT? What is EDT? Is that Eastern time? I know there's EST and there's EDT. I don't even know the difference, bro. I just say Eastern. I know that's the time zone I'm in, baby. Tomorrow at 1 p.m., eh? All right, cool. So we got some time. Thank you, Brandon, for being very clear about that. Oh, let's pull up chat. Here's chat. The Thursday before release. Yeah. I think that's probably what we got going on. So Natalie and I whipped up all the decks. We built a lot of the Paradox Rift decks. I mean, I'm testing for LAIC now, and it seems like on one hand, I mean, some of the same old decks are going to be good. On the other hand, you know, I think that Roaring Moon is kind of insane. But in my early testing, I can't really see Roaring Moon beating single prize decks. But we tried playing like Roaring Moon against Lugia V-Star. Lugia V-Star just straight up cannot beat Roaring Moon. Straight up. Yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed that, Sticks. Like, honestly, Roaring Moon's nuts. It's insane. When it comes to beating 2-prize decks, like, Roaring Moon is just going to beat that 2-prize deck. But what I can't seem to figure out, I cannot beat Gardevoir with Roaring Moon. That's like my That's my early beef with Roaring Moon. I absolutely stomp a lot of things, but that matchup's horrendous. I was like, I haven't won a single game with Roaring Moon against Guardy. Not a single one. Even with the even with like the little, mushroom head guy. I don't know. What's his name? Toxic mushroom man. Even with that thing. Yeah. Even with Brute Bonnet. Right. I'm talking about Turbo Roaring Moon. That deck. I'm playing with the Brute Bonnet now because I do think that Turbo Roaring Moon should play a Brute Bonnet. But it's a situation where it's like you either play one Brute Bonnet or you play 3 Brute Bonnet. Like, you never play 2. There's really no reason to play 2 because you want to push your opponent to an odd prize count with the Brute Bonnet, right? So, like, the Morpeko doesn't matter. I think Brute Bonnet is just better than Morpeko. I think the Morpeko kind of stinks, frankly. Baby Moltres and Clara, I mean, it's the same deal. It's like you're playing. So I can't really seem to beat Gardevoir with one Brute Bonnet. And it feels like in order to set up the Brute Bonnets, you kind of need 2 prizers in play. Like, you're going to need a Squawkabilly. I think people just like Morpeko because it's cute. That's what I'm saying. You play 1 Brute Bonnet or you play 3 Brute Bonnet. Those are the 2 count. Or 4 Brute Bonnet. I mean, sheesh. Like, if you really want to do that. No, 2 is not perfect. That's what. Okay, so what I'm saying is, and the reason why 2 is not perfect is because you want to use the Brute Bonnets to force an odd prize, right? So 2 is the opposite. So 2 is not perfect. No, you want to play 1 or you want to play 3 because it's got to be an odd prize force. You see what I'm saying? So, like, you want to force your opponent to knock out a Brute Bonnet and then don't let your opponent knock out any other single prizers, right? So that then they're forced to a 7 prize game. Or you force your opponent to knock out 3 Brute Bonnets and then 2 Roaring Moons. Stevie says, seems like the deck is mid because it's just another big 2 prizer that can kill 2 prizers and just loses to single prizers, just like Miraidon. Except it's better than Miraidon, and Miraidon just won a regional. Right? Honestly, I kind of feel like Roaring Moon is just better Miraidon. Azul was saying it's a one-dimensional beat stick. Isn't Miraidon a one-dimensional beat stick? I mean, when you're when you're looking at the deck side by side, aren't Miraidon and Roaring Moon kind of just the same? Yeah, Roaring Moon can't judge path as often as Miraidon. That's true. That's like, but Roaring Moon is more aggressive than Miraidon. Miraidon does have access to Iron Hands now. That's true. That's true. But honestly, I don't see Miraidon beating Roaring Moon. I don't. Like, honestly, you slap those ancient tool things onto Roaring Moon, and they got 290 HP. Amp you very much on the squawk. The game's going to be too fast. Jack Case and Dad, I'm happy for you. I'm about to gorge myself on my kids' Halloween candy. Good God. It's your kids' Halloween candy. You're an adult. Why don't you go to the store and buy yourself some Halloween candy? Let your kid have their Halloween candy. The dad tax is real. They got all the good stuff. Ooh, man. So I'm just looking out for my kids' health is all. Yeah. Just looking out for my kids' health. Making sure they don't eat too much candy. That's exactly it. Good God. I gotta make sure the candy's good, you know? Just testing the product. Oh my God. Man. Yes, Pig Sheffer is right. It's a bunch of dads out here. I know. We did a vote yesterday, and I actually didn't know how the vote was gonna go. We said, how old are you? Are you 13 to 19? Are you 20 to 29? Are you 30 plus? And the majority of chat was 30 plus, yeah. Yeah, what's up, Schwa? Yo, Chocobo, apparently Gudra is doing pretty well. Just top-8'd back-to-back regionals. But I think that Gudra V-Star's stocks decrease exponentially. You know, with the release of Roaring Moon, right? Oh, Slimy Room Gudra. Yeah, I can't speak for Slimy Room Gudra. Never mind. God, I need more caffeine. I do. So I've been working on Gardevoir decks too. And part of me thinks that Gardevoir is just going to continue being good. Does anybody else? We could just like kind of look at lists. I guess we can kind of brainstorm lists. That's kind of that, or we play old format on TCG Live. Like it's one of the two, right? We can kind of look at lists and talk about them, or we could play old format on TCG Live, or I can do Pokemon history, X and Y era. Where are the Ralts? Nice, here we go. I kind of think I kind of think that Gardevoir is insane still. Am I like crazy for that? I think that like I think that Iron Hands is like completely overrated, and I think that Gardevoir is kind of nuts. Am I crazy for that? Like I saw, who was it? Ian Robb. I think he's capping though. Yeah, he tweeted, "I'm gonna miss Guardy, bro." But I don't think that that's. I think he's capping there, right? I know, right? Like he's doing. That's that. So when I read that Ian Robb says, "I'm gonna miss Guardy," that makes me think he's gonna play Guardy. That just makes me think, oh wait, Guardy's definitely broken, right? Because in my experience, like Roaring Moon, Lugia is unplayable now, in my opinion. I think Lugia V-Star, unplayable filth. Like that deck. Okay, so that's also kind of fun. So we could also do. Anybody got like a tier list, a meta tier list or something? Pokecut. I'm looking for like an editable one. Editable. Yes, tiermaker.com. But yes, I'm looking for like, do I have to put the stuff in myself? I guess I could probably put the stuff in myself. Ooh, see, thank you, Jake. I appreciate that. Thank you. See, that's what I'm looking for right there. I appreciate that. Thank you. No, I think, well, the thing is that Lugia doesn't even get to play the game, bro. Lugia doesn't even get to set up against Roaring Moon. Like, Roaring Moon just smacks it. Like, they go Lugia. Like think about how bad the Miraidon versus Lugia matchup is. Like, the Roaring Moon matchup is worse. Somehow. I'm telling you. It was laughable. It's just laughable. It's so much worse. You know how often Miraidon gets the turn 1 attack? Roaring Moon gets the turn 1 attack twice as often. For 220 or infinite damage. Well, that's the thing, is Roaring Moon doesn't beat Gardevoir. So, but I don't really know. I have like some Guardy ideas. Man, is that a Battle VIP pass? Yeah. Well, the thing is like, I don't know if you play the Mirage Stepper in like, maybe you do play the Mirage Stepper, but I was playing the Evo TM. I gotta get that proxy from somewhere. I don't know. The Evo TM is kind of nasty, dude. Mirage Step is different than Evo TM. They're different. They're just different cards. Evo TM makes you like less reliant on rare candy and it allows you to get like turn 2 attacks. It's crazy. Like Evo TM makes it so you could do stuff on turn 2. Like significant stuff. Yeah, you can Evo TM on turn 1. That's the difference. Is Evo TM can help you to catch up if you go second. Whereas if you Mirage Step going second, like you're probably... You could play both. I mean, I don't know. Well, that's kind of what we're here talking about, right? Man. Thank you, Espresso. So that's the thing, is like it's either one of two things. Either we don't change Guardy at all, right? Either we don't change Guardy at all, or we use the Evo TM. And this is how the desktop gets disgusting. Yeah, see? We just save everything to the desktop. Boop. Just one Evo TM. You play a couple of Arvin. But that's the thing, is like the Arvin pack. I actually think you can use the Arvin package in Guardy now. It's like Charizard's already using the Arvin package, so why don't we use the Arvin package in Guardy? I actually don't think you play... I don't think that you play... Tulip. No, you don't need Tulip, I don't think. But, like, Arvin is already goated in this deck. Or already goated in Stage 2 decks. I mean, you get pretty much anything you want with Arvin, right? And then this deck was already playing for a Sealstone. You know, so you get 4 Sealstone. Obviously, yes, there's Pokemon I'm still missing. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like the Arvin for Battle V, and you play Luminion. You play Mew from Celebration. You play Mew from Celebration. Mew from Celebrations is like still the best thing you could do if you go first. You got Zacian. Thank you, Ruben. I don't think that you need Screamtail necessarily. Frankly. Luminion. I think it's Cresselia or Screamtail. You could like either one. You know. But I don't think you need both. And you do need Greninja. Yeah. I do think Cresselia is better because it's just better against Lost Box decks. I was thinking about it more. I don't actually think that you play... I just don't think that you play Jirachi. I don't. I think you just use Cresselia to heal your guys and Manaphy. I don't think you play Jirachi. Am I tripping there? Oh, you could play Mew EX. Yeah, I mean, you could. So you got these, and then the thing is the supporters get, I mean, you get like real tight with the supporters. You're on that like 2 Arvin, 2 Ion. I just like pairs of things. You probably only got room for like 1 research, you know. It's starting to get kind of sussy out here, all right, with the supporter grind. I'm not going to lie to you. And I am playing 4 Ultra Ball now so that you could go Ultra Ball for Luminion. You could go 1 boss, 2 counter catcher. You could. You could play 2 Iono. That's fine. Game's fast now. Game's fast now, baby. And the thing is, if you play counter catcher, sure. So you could go counter catcher. I mean, you could do that. Right? Because then you can Arvin for it too. So like Arvin is just, I really think Arvin's like a crazy card and that we should just consider Arvin. You should definitely consider Arvin as like a Guardy as a Guardy thing. I think Evolution TM like potentially changed that, or it's, and that's the thing. It's either nothing changes and we just do the same old builds of Guardy, or we switch it up. But I think Arvin just increases your turn 1 consistency with this deck by a ton. It's nuts. It's absolutely crazy. Yes, and then you play you play Vacuum because it counters Path, right? And then you could also search Vacuum with Arvin. That's what I'm saying, bro. The whole, it's starting to come together, isn't it? Arvin is kind of that card. It gets you, because you draw cards with Refinement, and that's what I'm saying, right? So, like, you draw cards with Refinement, and you search out whatever you want with Arvin. You play 2 Rare Candy, I think. Rare Candy is a 2 of. I think you could play 2. You could play 3 Arvin, but let's take a look at the space first. I'm going to show you the space in this deck, and then you're going to start. You're going to start seeing what I'm talking about. And you need your 2 rods. And we got 59 cards. I got Fog Crystals, too. Palpad, that's the last card. See? This is like the list that I have built at my house right now. We lose to Path. We got Vacuum and 2 Stadium, just like Tord did at Worlds, right? This is how Tord got second at Worlds with 2 Stadiums and a lost Vacuum. No, he didn't play Worker at Worlds. I'm pretty sure he did not. Right? Let's reorganize ourselves for the deck building meta here. Cool. It's 2 stadiums vacuum. So the reason we have 4 Ultra Ball right now, which is more than usual, the reason we have 4 Ultra Ball is because you want to go turn 1 Luminion for VIP Pass Tool, right? Sure. I mean, the kind of roll, it doesn't matter, right? I'm not going to like, that's the reason we're playing 4 Ultra Ball now, right? So that you have more outs to that play. So that's why I'm at 4 Ultra Ball. You could go to 3, but like, I mean, if you go to 3, you probably just want to go +1 Arvin. But that's like that's the turn 1 play. How is Pumpkaboo not more consistent than Vacuum if you've got Fog Crystal? The Pumpkin takes up a bench space, which is like not good. And then you can Mysterious Tail and you can Arvin for the but it's mostly bench space. The Pumpkin just takes up bench space. Yeah. Admittedly, this is very low on supporters. I know it is. But like, what do you want me to do? Like, this is about as tight as it gets. I can say that I have been playing this list though, and it is gas. Like, it works for sure. And you do, you know, I can vouch that this does work. It definitely works. And that's the thing, is Guardy doesn't actually need many supporters. I mean, it's true. Guardy doesn't need a lot of supporters. You've got 4 refinement. Turo could be kind of sick. Sure. Worker is nice. But it's like, where are you putting it? Right? I mean, you're cutting cards you don't want to cut. You could go down in energy, right? Yeah, I mean, you could. You could go down in Ultra Ball. You could cut Cresselia. You don't really want to cut anything else. Yeah. See what I mean? Like, it's not great. You want 10 basic energy for sure. Is 1 boss enough? You got boss, and you got counter catcher, and you got pal pad. I don't want to go to 2 level ball. That seems crazy. But that's why we're at 3, is because of this, right? We're at 3 level ball because of the Evo TM. But I don't know that you want to go to 2 level ball. Only 1 Evo TM? Are we realistically fitting more than 1? I don't know. Greedy lists win tournaments, don't they? Just don't prize your Evo TM. It's not awful because you still just have a good deck even if you prize the Evo TM. Right, because you got either Forest or Evo TM. They're both cracked, right? The 4 Ultra Ball are so that you could Ultra Ball for Lumini and get the turn 1 Arvin Evo TM play. I do feel like if you're playing the Evo TM version, though, that you want to play a full play set of Refinement Curlias because you want to go turn 1 Evo TM into 2 Refinement Curlias, and then you're like, Refinement, Radiant Greninja, evolve another Waltz, Refinement. Like, you're just drawing like 8 cards turn 2. That's why you don't really need to play too many supporter cards, right? I mean, yeah. So the Evo TM just goes better with Refinement Curlia. So this is just a different way to play Guardy. And I think that in my early testing, this is kind of sick. Like this kind of core concept for a Guardy deck is pretty gnarly. So we're gonna keep that. All right. Let's take a look at a different list. Let's see who was it that I saw posted this? Who was it that posted the Urshifu Iron Valiant deck on Twitter? I don't want to show off their list. I saved their list on my phone, but I didn't. It wasn't Celio. It wasn't Omnipoke. It was somebody. Did Omnipoke post one? It was the one with the Rapid Strike Artillery. Yes, YRG, yes. It was like tubs, trash, tubs, something. Garbage, tubs, trash, user on Twitter. Come on. I know one of you has seen it. I have the list right here. I forget. I just want to give credit. I want to give credit to the right person. Vinny. Yes, Vinny Gassy. That's it. Yes. Super Gassy. What's that person's name? Yes. Yeah. This person. Yes. Okay. Vinny. See? All right, here we go. We made it. I knew teamwork makes the dream work. See, I didn't want to show off Vinny's list without actually pulling up Vinny's Twitter. So, this is why you bookmark? Listen, I'm a boomer, all right? I also built this. What do we think about this? Collectively as a chat. I don't like the Thornton, but you get the idea. Like, just as generally as a Iron Valiant deck. Is that 12 switches? Yizzer. This is like Urshifu Intellion, but instead of needing to evolve into Intellion VMAX, you just use Tachyon bits. Right. That's it, right? I do think that Iron Valiant works better with Rapid Strike than with Xatu. Yes, I agree with that. Yeah. I do think that there's a world where you could cut Octillery from here, and then you gain 4 spots. Yes. Right? That's what I think there's a world where you just, like, you axe that. The strafe ruling helps. Oh, yeah, the strafe ruling, bro. I forgot about that. Octillery's path bump? Yeah, well, lots of decks can bump path without having to get an octopus into play. Right? Now, the 3 Tower Waters is good because you want to have a path counter, and you want to and you want to give your bears free retreat. And that's what I'm saying. Turn 1 yoga loop. Like the first time I built this list, I got a turn 1 yoga loop. Some squawk pickup. Well, that's the thing, is you could play a card like Turo in here. You play Turo because then you can pick up a damaged Urshifu VMAX, or you can pick up a single Iron Valiant EX after using Tachyon bits, promote another Iron Valiant, and then switch into the same Iron Valiant to Tachyon bits again. Right? Thank you, Market Dimly Litz. Appreciate you. You need Radiant. Well, yeah, I think that the thing is bench space is just going to be super tight if you're trying to play the Octillery. So I think you take out the Octillery. Cut the Urshifu and run Intellium VMAX. No. The thing is that, all right, yes, there are 12 Switch cards in this list. But bro think he scoop off net. That was funny. Secluded Loaf, that was funny. I'll give you that. I think there are 2 Arvin. Yes, Trey, right here. Yeah. It's 2 Arvin, and then there's like 2 Karinas right there. Octillery does search out a lot of your deck. I mean, it's true. And the deck does play the Devolution tool. It's right here, hiding behind the Future Booster capsule. Yeah. So the deck does play 12 Switch. But Switch is really good with Urshifu VMAX. Gale Thrust, bro. Gale Thrust. Why do we need to play Hisui and Heavy Ball in this list? Why are people... Why are we locked on to having to play Hisui and Heavy Ball? Metacham? Just don't prize it. just don't stop prizing it. I don't think the Techno Radar is going to be a good card until either future... Wait, are all the future and the ancient Pokemon, are they all basics? Wait. Are they all... They're all basics, bro? Holy smokes. Do you think they're ever going to print any evolutions that are future or ancient? Or are they all just going to be basics? That's the point? Why does it have to be the point? I wish it wasn't the point. Man, bro. Fascinating. There are no evolutions for future or ancient in the game. All right, fine. Got it. Sure, whatever, I guess. All right, fine. So, yeah, this seems kind of cool. I think this concept is at least interesting. And you're just kind of going like Turbo, Iron Valiant, and then you clean up with Urshifu VMAX and Yoga Loop, right? But this general concept, I think that this is probably I do think that this is like the natural evolution of the Urshifu Inteleon VMAX deck, right? How do you beat any big Pokemon decks? Well, I already told you Lugia is dead, right? Lugia is super duper dead. So dead, bro. Sell your Lugias now, preferably to Full Grip Games. Lugia is dead. If I say it too many times, it's going to win LAIC. I will eat a Pokemon card. I will eat a Pokemon card if Lugia wins LAIC. I will eat one entirely and swallow it. Lugia is dead. If Lugia wins LAIC, I will eat a Pokemon card to completion. I don't know. There's a lot of foil on the. I didn't commit to an altar. There's a lot of foil on those. That's like eating tinfoil, man. That is why I did not agree to the foil, bro. I started thinking, I'm like, maybe I could. No. The foil, bro. That's right. I gotta tell you. Paper, ink, fine. Foil. I know it won't win, bro. It's not going to top 8 either. Because the deck is dead. Am I willing to push my bet to top 8? Yes. Lugia will not top 8 LAIC either. No way. No chance. All right, top 64. Anything can top 64, bro. Let's see. All right. Another take we have on Twitter. And if any of you guys got like, if any of you guys have any Paradox Rift takes from Twitter that you want me to react to, you could go ahead and link them here in the chat and I'll pull them up. That's fine. That's pretty sick. That helps with the content, you know. But yes, Ethan Heggie, who lives and goes to school in Japan right now. So, you know, he's one of the English-speaking people we have on the ground floor over at, over in Japan. But, to be fair, Paradox Rift also, just released in Japan as it just released here. I have not seen that, Jack, no. So Ethan says that Paradox Rift Giratina deck list, I used this at a tournament I attended this weekend, and the deck felt the strongest it has in a while. I can't emphasize how strong Countercatcher is in the deck. Has so many applications and helps swing momentum back in your core when you're behind. This is literally no different, except it's just got 2 Countercatcher in it. I think, personally, I don't think the Giratina V-Star is it. I am not convinced. At all. Not convinced. Yeah, it's always Tina every new set. Here's Tina. Yeah, I'm not really convinced about the Tina. I'm going to miss Guardy. I think Guardy is kind of cracked. And I think Guardy is like a deck. Because Guardy, you can one-hit KO anything with a single prizer. It's just broken. Yo, how do we unblock x.com from Moobot? Does any moderator know how to do that? If not, I can probably pop in here and take a look. You're on it, Brandon? Thank you, kind sir. All right. Can't wait for someone to hit me with this while I have SPM and VMAX and play with all energy on all my Pokemon. Oh, that's hilarious. Yes. And then we're about to learn a whole lot about sudden death. That's actually true. I do think that we're about to learn a whole lot about sudden death because there's a lot of people who have never played sudden death before. And Roaring Moon is going to be a card that, brings up a lot of sudden death situations. I agree. Oh, yeah, Little Dark Fury. Man. How come I can't find LDF, bro? Man. Little. There he is. All right, so Little Dark Fury got the Lugia Iron Hands is going to be legit. So now I want to know, is Lugia Iron Hands gonna be legit? Yes or no? Thank you, Brandon. X.com's allowed now? Yes. So if any of you guys got a Twitter post that you want me to react to, you can post it in the chats and I'll Now, I told you I think Lugia is dead. Straight up. Man, it doesn't seem to be working. Because people are getting timed out for posting lists. Thank you, CJ Lennon. I'm sorry you got timed out there. I thought it was supposed to allow links from x.com. But our tech team is on it. I apologize. On desktop, the links are still twitter.com. Yeah, that went through. That's going through. Excellent. Excellent. Cool. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Appreciate that. Okay. City League. All right. We've got the Screamtail Guardy with the Driftbloom and the Charms. Right? I mean, sure. That deck is good if no one vacuums your guys. It is. Like, thank you, Brandon. I appreciate it. Like, this deck is broken. If nobody ever uses vacuum on your guys, then that's broken. But I think my biggest beef with that is that for Avery, holy smokes, dude. That's kind of correct. For Avery, dude. Here's your Lost Box Roaring Moon deck that you were asking about. This is kind of interesting. Let's see. What's the view look like here? That's not bad. That's fine. I feel like finding a good spot for chat when it's tough, but that's fine. Why is the Mimikyu there? I guess maybe if they're playing against a Turbo Roaring Moon deck, maybe the only way to knock out the Mimikyu is by doing self-damage to a Roaring Moon, which then is good for your Lost Box deck, right? Yeah, this is just Giratina V-Star without evolving, right? Isn't that kind of poggers? How often are you getting off the Greninja plays? You ever played a Lost Box deck? What you mean? Oh, yeah. Well, I think... Yeah, Greninja's just broken, right? You never do. What? Manaphy's always right there. All right, well, that's fair. But you have to threaten it, right? It's also just another off color energy. So I think like that's the biggest argument is it's just an off. It's an off color energy. What the alternative is that you just play Dark and Psychic, but you want a third one, I think, right? And sometimes Manaphy's not there. Sometimes, right? Threaten with the presence of Ninja, but just play Dark and Psychic. I think it was the same thing. Like, remember those Giratina lists that, remember those Giratina lists that used to play like 2 water and then even just 1 water? I think it's kind of like that, right? We're just like having the, I could see 2 water. Right. I think 1 water was a little silly. Yeah. But I get it. The thing is you don't want to ever play Mirage Gate and only have one type of energy in your deck. That's the problem, right? Well, that's the thing, Firewall, is that I kind of think that Iron Hands is mid. I've been saying this, bro. Iron Hands overrated. What do we do with Iron Hands with? Baxcalibur? That deck stinks. I did see Azul's sign, yes. I agree. And you guys see Jake Gearhart's post? Man, I am so glad that Jake Gearhart is not designing Pokemon cards, bro. And you all see this, the dichotomy between chronically online Twitter presence Jake, who obsesses over unhealthy cards, and the Pokemon TCG. This is like Isaiah kind of perfectly hit the nail on the head with this. Because I only knew Jake from his Twitter presence. And then I was like, dude, I don't know, man. And then I met him in real life, and I was like, wow, he's like a pretty chill dude. He's like super normal and like a really nice guy. And then I go back to seeing his Twitter post, and I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, how are you a real person? Yeah, this tweet made me very glad that Jake Earhart is not designing Pokemon cards. What a miserably designed Pokemon card. No chance, bro. Yeah. But anyways, this is pretty cool. I do like the because I guess my major beef with Roaring Moon, like Turbo Roaring Moon decks, is that you can't really beat Gardevoir decks. And you're going to have a bad time against single prize decks. But I think with a list like this, you actually probably just, like, destroy them. Like, look, you've got 2 Judge, bro. 3 Boss's Orders, bro. Like, dang. That's crazy. I think with this, like, you've got a legitimate shot. So there's only 2 switch card, 2 rope. But 4 Jets. 4 Jets, baby. 4 Jets. We're chilling. I am a huge fan of 4 path. So, like, yeah, it does feel like a lot. But also, you know what it feels like to just slam a path down, down against a deck that doesn't want to see that card? Man, what a rush. Yes, Hoodie plays. No, the second attack and Brute Bonnet is not enough. I think that you're probably only beating single prize decks maybe some of the time if you're playing like 3 Brute Bonnet and like 2 Roaring Moon EX, like a list like that. But even then, in order to get Brute Bonnet powered up consistently and fast, you have to have bench sitters like Lumineon V, Squawkabilly EX. So, like, it doesn't even matter. Your opponent will just gust around that. And Brute Bonnet can't actually knock out Gardevoir EX. So it doesn't do enough damage. So you have to put 2 prizers into play in order to do that. In my experience, like, Gardevoir can go behind 2 prizes against Turbo Roaring Moon decks, and then comes back with like a Shining Arcana Guardy to 1-hit KO a 2 prizer. Then, you know, say Roaring Moon gusts the Gardevoir EX and knocks it out. Then Gardevoir goes 2 more prizes, right? And they have to. So here's exactly how it goes. You ready for exactly how it goes? Here's exactly how it goes. Say Turbo Roaring Moon leads with the Brute Bonnet, takes 1 prize against Guardy, okay? Goes to 5 prizes. Then Guardy messes around for another turn. Brute Bonnet takes a 2nd prize against Guardy. Then Guardy finally gets his stuff together and uses a Shining Arcana Gardevoir to counter catcher, knock out a 2 prizer, right? Then we're at 4-4. Then Roaring Moon can gust Gardevoir EX with a Roaring Moon EX and go to 2 prizes, right? But they have to attack it with a Roaring Moon EX. If they don't attack it with a Roaring Moon EX, then they can only knock out Gardevoir with Brute Bonnet. If they knock out Gardevoir with Brute Bonnet, then Gardevoir can power up another Shining Arcana Gardevoir and gust up another 2-prizer and take another knockout. So the best case scenario is probably that Roaring Moon uses Roaring Moon EX, gusts up Gardevoir EX, and takes 2 prizes to go down to 2 prizes remaining. Then Gardevoir can Iono them to 2 cards and knock them out with the same Shining Arcana Gardevoir that they just had, and Gardevoir doesn't need to put another 2-prizer in play because they already have a fully loaded Gardevoir right here. So they don't even need to bench another Gardevoir EX. They don't even need to give Roaring Moon the win condition. They don't even have to bench it. They can just go, boom, smack another 2-prizer, and go 2-2. So Gardevoir can go to 2-2 prizes without even having a Gardevoir EX online. And then Roaring Moon's like, okay, I guess I'll send up Brute Bonnet and knock out the Gardevoir, go to 1 prize remaining. Then all Gardevoir needs is Boss's Orders, GG's. It's exactly the same as the Miraidon matchup. Like, exactly the same. It feels exactly the same, except Brute Bonnet is Zapdos from Pokemon Go, right? It's the same exact thing. Gardevoir is one of Miraidon's worst matchups, for sure. If you want to see how Miraidon can beat Gardevoir, you watch the finals of Toronto. They have to dead draw. Yes, Miraidon does a lot. Now, you can win. It's probably like a 40-60 matchup. But, 40% of the time, you could roll 40% twice. For sure. So that's that. I think a list like this is probably... I think a Roaring Moon list like this is probably more well-equipped to be able to deal with, like, a wider threat. Probably. But then again, you're missing all of the stuff that makes like a Turbo Roaring Moon deck so good. Like Turbo Roaring Moon just absolutely destroys Arceus, absolutely destroys Lugia, absolutely destroys Miraidon. Like those matchups are not even remotely close for a Turbo Roaring Moon deck. And I feel like this, like ironically, Lost Box Roaring Moon is slower than Turbo Roaring Moon, right? Even though you kind of associate Lost Box with being like a fast engine, you're actually just way slower. Because Troggy, I don't stream to YouTube. It's just like, I don't know. I don't stream to YouTube. I don't feel like streaming to YouTube. I don't feel like splitting up my Twitch chat. I like having the I like the Twitch community. I like my live community being on Twitch. And I like my videos being on YouTube. Does that make sense? We got here Lamberto. Ooh. And if you want to watch me on YouTube, I got my VODs up on YouTube. I got a whole VOD channel. And that's what I'm saying. Like, reading 4 chats at once. Like, why do I want to do that? Like, I don't want to do that. That sounds miserable. I think Brute Bonnet is just better than Morpeko here. It's like you've already got Mew EX for Free Retreat. I just don't see why Brute Bonnet's not just better. I also don't agree with Energy Switch in this list. I feel like that's totally unnecessary. I also don't think that you need trekking shoes. But it's cool. I mean, it's the same concept, right? The water energies. Is the water energy just so you can like threaten a Radiant Greninja just by manually attaching to it? I guess that's kind of interesting. I don't think that in my experience, Dark Patch and Seta's Vitality are enough. And you just don't, the energy switch, because like what value is energy switch actually giving to you? All you really need to do is hit Seta and Dark Patch. I don't feel like you need both. I know you can Seta energy switch, but you can also Seta Dark Patch. I don't know. Energy switch is fine. I'm just not convinced it's totally necessary. Sometimes you miss the Dark Patch is probably the best argument. It's like a Dark Patch. It's like, it is, energy switch is worse than Dark Patch. 100%. These lists do not need to play Darkrai V-Star. Absolutely not. You can say to the water and energy switch to Ninja. Oh, all right. That's kind of gas. Yo, what? All right. My mind just got blown. Okay. Okay. My mind just got blown. Yup. I'm never going to be able to see Seta's Vitality the same, bro. That's crazy. All right. Now I get it. That's kind of sauce. But as Chaos said, they always have Manaphy. They always got Manaphy. So what's the point? I do think that Brute Bonnet is better than this Morpeko, though, because Brute Bonnet allows you to hit 230 in the mirror without damaging yourself, and I think that that's very good. I know what we need to do. Just cut these trekking shoes, and we'll play some Canceling Kalongs. Oh, yeah. It's Canceling Cologne, baby. We're just going to do the Baxcalibur strat. That's right. There's only 8 energy in here? Man, bro. I think I'm playing like 11. I guess it's 10. I know there's 4 vessels, but still, you know how much energy you need in the discard pile in order to be able to do Seta and Dark Patch in the same turn? 3. You need 3. That's over a third of the darkness energy in your deck. In order to pull off, and you need 1 in hand. A third of the darkness energy in your deck. I know you don't need that exact play with this build, but still you do need to have it's 8 darkness energy susses me out for sure. Well, that's the thing. If you play a list that's, I suspect that a list with this few energy, I'm telling you, you don't, even with the 4, my list has got 4 of these too, okay? I'm telling you, you're going to run into situations where you don't have the darkness in the discard pile. I know. My list has 4 Pokestop as well. I get it. I think 8 feels a little low. But maybe I'm just not min-maxing enough. These lists is the same. Yes. Them lists is the same. Oh, the 0 Pokegear. I think Pokegear is just better than shoes. Yeah. I do agree with that. Pokegear is insane. Because you only play 5 supporters, man. That's crazy. Like, how is... And Pokegear you can actually find with your stop. And they don't have the tool in here. Yes, they don't have any of the tools. Yes. Okay. So now I'm kind of seeing where that space came from. I think giving your guys 290 HP is pretty good. But I guess, well, that's why they're playing the Morpeko instead of the Brute Bonnet, because they're not playing any of the tools. So that makes sense. If you're not playing any tools, then yes, you got to play Brute Bonnet. Or if you're not playing any tools, then you play Morpeko instead of Brute Bonnet. That makes sense. Only playing 5 supporters is a reason for gear being bad? No, I disagree because you are trying to play Sada's Vitality every single turn. So then you want cards that reach for Sada's Vitality. Like Pokegear. I guess, I mean, you look at like Lost Box decks. Pokegear has been in and out of different... Pokegear has been in and out of different Lost Box lists throughout time. But then, like, it ended up becoming Forest Sealstone was the card to look for gear. So, like, for a little while, it was gear, and then it just became Forest Sealstone. But yeah, I could definitely see... Yeah, it's interesting. I like the idea of the waters and the energy switches. Those are interesting. I think that's definitely worth considering. That could help you to beat Lost Box decks. All right, this fine. We'll take a look at it. No way, right? What did it do? Yo, Serena Crobat? Now this is gas. I'll look at... Okay. All right. What are we doing here? I don't think that Cofagrigus has enough HP. That's kind of my issue with... I'm not... Show match. I'll show. All right. Show game. Show game, streamer. Show game. Yeah, TPCI should have like a studio where they have gamers show up and play games and then they like broadcast to them. They should do that. Pokemon Japan has it. Thank you, Sims DMH, for the sub in the 3 months. All right, let's see what we got going on here. We watch it increase speed. Dude. All right, we got Bound Sweet with a grass energy versus Typhlosion, Hisuian version. Very good. And we're doing like 20, 30 damage there. That's pretty exciting. Okay, this seems like it's going to be a long match. Me when my opponent plays down Mimikyu into the active spawn. I don't know. This isn't necessarily keeping my attention. We got a couple Bound Sweets. We got the Typhlosion. We got all the gamers set up. All right, that's a pretty gamer setup we got here. All right, Rare Candy into Serena. We got Serena up. Okay. And then, bam. Go smack that Typhlosion. And the Panic Mask? Yo, not the Panic Mask, dog. All right, I want to see something happen. We got a Zubat. We got another Serena. Serena is continuing to smack things. All I can tell from this gameplay is that Serena is destroying right now. Somehow that Cofagrigus went away. Where did the Cofagrigus go? Okay, we'll put down Path. What's happening to this Cofagrigus? Oh, yeah. We're going to give him the whirly swirly kick. All right. 180 damage. Cofagrigus is down. All right, this is just basically a Serena, picking on. Yeah. Got it. Conceptually. Now, this list may or may not be any good, but conceptually, Serena, I'm not convinced that decks like this are going to keep up in standard format with Roaring Moon and Lost Box rolling around. I'm just going to be completely honest with you. Yeah. It seems like too much of this is very gimmicky, if you ask me. I don't actually think that this is going to be Lost Box, Roaring Moon, even Iron Hands. Yeah, I don't think that that's necessarily got any legs. And then I also think I'm not convinced that Cofagrigus does enough damage. And it does base 110? Right? That's just not nearly enough. I mean, back in the day, Dragapult VMAX, sure, but that's back when every deck was playing and that's back when every deck was playing Sobbles. So Max Phantom had a defined target that you were taking advantage of and knocking out. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. The Seda with the water energy and the energy switches and the Greninja, that's got me thinking. That's got me thinking things. It's got me thinking thoughts for sure. That's pretty cool. But Gardevoir won this, didn't it? So take that. I mean, this is exactly what I said, is it not? I started off this stream by saying that Roaring Moon can't beat Gardevoir, and sure enough, here we are in this exact post, right, from the City League. Gardevoir wins. I think Gardevoir is still the best deck. With the new cards, which is kind of crazy. Because I think Roaring Moon is such an insane deck, but Gardevoir just kind of farms it. I think Gardevoir can beat everything. Well, I think, yeah, Gardevoir's not, maybe it's not the best deck right now. I mean, it's a top deck right now. It was the most played deck at Lille. Let's look at meta decks. Top decks. Is this in order? Chen Pao number 2? No way. You realize this deck has no good matchups, right? Yeah, Gardevoir, it's a top deck right now, and I think it gets stronger with the next set. Yeah, look at, like, bro. Top decks. Notice what deck is not on here, bro. Freaking Chen Pao. Yeah, look at this deck, bro. How do you go to, like, it's like meta breakdown or whatever? That's right. I'm trash talking Chen Pao right now. What do you click on? Where's, like, its rankings tools? It's, let's see. How do you look at metagame online? Yeah, win percentage. Yes. Look at this, bro. Its win percentage is 46. Look at this. Look at this, bro. Look at this. Chen Pao backs Caliber. 46% win percentage. Against Giratina Lost Box, 43%. Against Lost Zone Box, 37%. Against the Mirror, 48% somehow. Against Gardevoir, which is supposedly a good matchup, 47%. Against Miraidon Flaffy, 38%. Charizard, its only good matchup, 52%. Single Strike Lugia, 42%. Lugia Archeops, 40%. Fusion Mew, 46%. Brother, Chen Pao is the worst. It's the worst deck. Look at this. Like, I could not in any reality suggest Chen Pao to someone that I cared about. Chen Pao is goated when it comes to winning 30 to 40% of the time. Look at Guardy's win percentage, sure. Bro, still better than 46. It's still 48 is still better than 46. Look at that. 50. Oh, yeah. So, yeah. I mean, Gardevoir is a top deck now. It's a top deck now, and I think it gets stronger. I mean, what from the new set, like, dismantles Gardevoir? Iron Hands, right? So then it comes down to, like, do you think that Iron Hands is real? And if so, how is it real? So let's see. Here's Natalie Miller's Golden Go Palkia. Interesting. I'm not exactly sure what I'm looking at here. I'm going to be honest. Maybe I'm not smart enough. Maybe my brain's not big enough. Ah, thanks, Chaos. Yeah. I was going to say, maybe my brain's not expanded enough to really... Yeah, that's bait. All right, fine. All right. Little Dark Furies. Lugia, Iron Hands. Is this the future of Lugia? Is this the future of Iron Hands? Is this the truth? Is this going to be the list that finishes in the top 8 of LAIC and forces me to eat a Pokemon card? All right, I like that list. Kind of like our Guardy list more than that. I think Rahul posted a... This was so sick. You guys see the Pokemon fan club trainer chip? Did you guys see that? That was sick. Oh, my tongues are legendary. Oh, my God. There we go. All right, what about this? What do we think? Bad. Yes. Why? All right. I actually kind of thought that Reggie's is kind of gnarly. No, I'm serious, dude. Reggie's is kind of sick, but it can't beat Guardy. And this deck list here doesn't solve that for me. Yeah, this also doesn't beat Charizard, right? You like can't really beat Charizard, and you can't really beat Gardevoir. Because there's no darkness type Reggie, there's no grass type Reggie, and you're not doing enough damage. Like if this guy did 300 damage to Pokemon with a rule box, it'd be lights out. I'd be sleeving this up. But it doesn't. So you do get a couple new things. I mean, you get the Earthen Vessel. That's obviously very good. You get the Counter Catcher. That's also very good. I mean, 240, but this one, the one that fills your hand to 4, I feel like you're constantly dead drawing with this deck. Like that ability is like a significant portion of your draw engine. Yeah, any stage 2 EX deck is going to roll Reggies. It's true. What if we did the Devolution TM, though? What if What if, bro, did I just break the format? That's it, baby. Devo TM. That's how we do it. Yeah, lucky to a bunch of things in TM. Right. Yeah. Yeah, just Devo 5 times and they're cooked. Right. See, now you get it. Yeah. Well, the problem is that you're not one-hit KOing any Stage 2 Pokemon EX. That's like a problem, right? So, I mean, I guess against like Guard and Collapsed is so bad for you too, because what happens is like a Gardevoir EX deck can go in with Gardevoir EX, right? 310 HP, and they can swing with it, and then they can move it to the bench and collapse it away. That's like their checkmate play against you. And I know that because I spent a decent amount of time playing Reggie's post-rotation, and it's not a bad deck. It's really not. It's kind of gas. But, yeah, that's a play that you hate to see. Are there any other decks? So there's like Charizard, but Counter Catcher kind of helps with that because you can, with a high Counter Catcher count, you could just, the problem was you couldn't boss before, right? All right, so what if, what if like you hit him for, 240 with Dragon Energy, and then you Thornton, Iron Hands, Counter Catcher, blamos. 3 prizes, dude. 3 prizes. All right. So now I'm kind of drinking the Kool-Aid now. I think I'm kind of there. Because the problem is previously you couldn't Thornton Iron Hands Counter Catcher, and now you can Thornton Iron Hands Counter Catcher. See? See, now we can do that. And you could take 2 prizes out of nowhere. That's kind of neat. Oh, don't Lost City my Regice. Nobody's going to do that. I think Iron Hands just to win the game, yes. I don't think you bust out the Iron Hands until you're ready to win. Because if you bust out the Iron Hands too early, then you're stuck with Iron Hands. Yes, you don't ever want to start the Iron Hands. That'd be bad. This deck seems kind of gimmicky, but I don't know. It's interesting. All right, let's talk. Let's talk meta. Who else did a tier list on Twitter? You found the Broken Iron Hands Miraudon list? Yo, sick. I love to see this. This is tomorrow. Please come by all means. Yes. GLC in Japan. So sick. Is it your list, Jesse, or did you steal it from a Japanese player? You stole it? Of course you did. Get in the kitchen, Jesse. Start cooking yourself. You know, it can't always just be Miraidon. Miraidon's not always going to be there for you. Holy smokes. Oh my God, these are the energy from the... Oh my God, they're beautiful, dude. Chris Gold, all right. If you are Chris's son out there, and you are really excited about your Alolan Vulpix V-Star deck, tell your dad to kick rocks. That card is broken, all right? Alolan Vulpix V-Star is nuts. And you're going to win whatever tournament you want with that deck, all right? You got this. It's broken. It beats everything. Thank you, Herb, for the sub in the 14 months. I appreciate that. Well, I also decided that I'm going to need one of those Pokemon TCG Classic things. Yeah, look at these energy, dude. What? Man. Four of those big charms? Pineapple energy. This list has 4 Raikou. This list has 4 stones. Holy. All right. The longer I look at the list, the better it gets. Is the thing. Yeah, bro. The longer I look, the better it gets. I just am. I'm so into it, man. All right, 4 Arvin. Holy moly, man. 4 Iono. 4 Boss's Orders. Wait, it's not 18 energy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. That's 18 energy. All right, they need to get off that broke stuff though and actually shell out for the final 4 classics energies. It's ruining my immersion. Chris Gold, all right. If you are Chris's son out there, and you are really excited about your Alolan Vulpix V-Star deck, tell your dad to kick rocks. That card is broken, all right? Alolan Vulpix V-Star is nuts. And you're going to win whatever tournament you want with that deck, all right? Thanks for clipping that. All right, so there ain't no flaffies in here. Holy smokes, there's no flaffy, okay? There's no... Yeah, man. This is just... It's just sauce, bro. It's just straight sauce. It's for... Oh, my God. It's just sauce. All sauce, no spaghetti. 4 charms, dude. Like, all right, surely the deck doesn't need 4 charms, right? Surely you don't need you just put charms on everything, dude. You can't put charms on everything because you've also got 4 stones. I suppose the idea of the deck is that you want to... You're doing it, bro. You're doing it. You're doing the turn 1. You hit 2 energy off of generator every time. You got to hit 2 generators turn 1 to get a turn 1 Iron Hands. Switching cups? I mean, I could see at least 5 cards you could cut for some switching cups. A 1/1 Flaffy? No, see, now you're getting lost. Jesse, let me ask you a question. How many ball search cards are in this deck? Bro. I was looking, I was like, man, how's it all fit, bro? How's it all fit? Oh, it's because there's no balls. This deck's got no balls. I've been staring at this deck for a while now, and I realize it's got no balls. Yeah. That's why you got the 4 seal stones, right? They get whatever you want. You want to do tabletop with this? I want you to do tabletop with this too. When's your next day, Jesse? When's your next day off? I know you texted me. Friday? Want to come in on Friday? It's a bank holiday. You're off this Friday and next Friday. Do you want to come in this Friday, 2 days from now, Friday or whatever? Yeah. This Friday? You're down? All right. Let's do it. Good. I really wanted to get some TCG tabletop in this week, so that'd be sick. All right, great. We'll plan on it. 10 a.m. Friday. Cool. I'll play TCG live all day tomorrow. And we got tabletop with Jesse, 10 a.m. Friday. There we go. Boom. Sick. That'll be fun. Excellent. Yeah, live is up, but the new set's not on live till tomorrow. Yeah, I'll do TCG live at 1 Eastern tomorrow. Yeah. So that's why we're just sitting here looking at lists. You know, is because the set's not live on live. Man, set's not live on live right now, dude. I'm gonna need one of these Japanese TCG Classic sets. Okay, I'm gonna need one of those. These are insane. I did not think that they could create cards that looked this cool. They're so sick. I could just sit here staring at the. Thank you for sharing this this list, Jesse. This is really getting me going here. Yeah. Man, it's so deep, you know? See, this is the kind of list that gets you thinking thoughts, gets you thinking about things you didn't think you'd think about. This is the kind of list you get really deep with the deck building, you know? Nobody knows what it means. It's provocative. Gets the people going. Yeah, that's pretty sick. All right, who else? What other content creators posted tier lists? I know Mellow Magikarp did. Posted a tier list. Did Azul do one? Zapdos TCG. Iron Hands is mid. No, I don't think Azul did one. Okay. Yo, what are we looking at here, dude? Oh, that's old. I was going to say, brother. Okay. Gotta click on the YouTube video. All right, that's fine. Shout out to Zapdos TCG. Show me what you got, Zapdos. If you haven't already, definitely make sure to check out Zapdos TCG.
This video is sponsored by PokemonStore.com. When a new set almost comes out, is doing a tier list prediction video. So I'm going to try to predict how these new are fantastic.
All right, let's see what you got here. All right, so he's drinking that Tina Kool-Aid, dude. He's on the Tina Kool-Aid. No shot, bro. On the Tina Kool-Aid. I am 100% not on the Tina Kool-Aid. You know, okay. Let's before we get too spoiled at looking at other people's lists, let's make our own. All right. Tricky Jim tier list prediction. We'll let him sit right there for now. Huh? Where's our buddy Roaring Moon? How do you add something? Oh, there he is. Okay. Bam. Blammo. Zoom. I got you. All right, fine. I made it bigger. Is that better? How's that? Arceus stuff, I think, is all unplayable now. I'm just going to be straight up with you. I think Roaring Moon destroys it. And then I think that, in my opinion, I think like Roaring Moon and Guardia are both like nuts. I think those two decks are insane. And then I think like these are kind of next in line. Lost Box, I think, is still very good. Where's Turbo Lost Box? Yeah, like Turbo Lost Box. Feels like it fits in like right around there. I've said before, I think Lugia is like unplayable now. Mew. Now, what about Mew? Where do we think Mew fits in to the equation? Can Mew still hang? I think Mew just gets mooned. You got Lost Box, Roaring Moon. Yeah. Is that even on here, though? I think Turbo Lost Zone Box, that's like also... Count Mew out. Go ahead. Don't put Mew VMAX on the list. That's exactly what it wants. I know. Mew's going to go turn one path your Roaring Moon. You're not going to do anything, and then... You probably just still have to put Mew on the list just out of respect, right? Out of respect. All right, what about this deck? What about United Wings? And Serena. These are decks I'm curious about. Aegislash can't beat anything. Palkia is definitely dead. I'm also curious about that deck. I don't believe in Garchomp. I don't believe in Crimson Armor guy. Chien-Pao Iron Hand seems fine. I mean, Control is getting some new cards, that's for sure. And I don't know that... I bet you people are not preparing to beat Control, is the thing. Right now, I'm just looking for the cards that deserve to be on the list. Okay, I actually don't even know if United Wings deserves to be on the list, but I think we should at least talk about it. Okay. If I don't put the deck on the table, you should sell those cards to Full Grip Games, because just go ahead, sell. Charizard, we got Charizard, right? Yeah, Charizard's right here. Arvinzard. Don't forget Alolan Vulpix. You're right, Chris. Zorobox, fine. I'll put Zorobox down here with the rogue guys. All right. What decks make it to the table? Tier 2 and up? Yep. I'm not going to list tier 3 decks because it's like... At that point, it's like they're not part of the meta. In my opinion, there's tier 1, there's tier 2, and then there's like rogue. That's kind of like what it is. It's tier 1, tier 2, rogue. If it ain't a tier 2 deck, what tier 3? You're not like I'm bringing the tier 3 deck to, like, it's basically a rogue deck at that point. Yeah, and tier 1.5 is basically just tier 2. That's true. So we can delete that as well. Sure. Yes. Fine. Here we go. Where is Mr. Cheese? He's not even on the list. Can you add a thing? Is it possible? Man. Okay. Where is Tyranitar? Who's going to tell them? What do you guys think about Cloth? You want to put Cloth on the list? I told JW we were going to fire him from the podcast for even mentioning Cloth in my general vicinity, but okay. Goldengo. Cloth. Okay. I did see the Hisuian Voltorb Cloth deck. I don't think that Cloth is... I think Cloth is very bad, if I'm going to be honest. No Intellion? I think that... Yeah, sure. How do we do this? Okay, fine. You can make me open Photoshop. Hello, Galadriel. And then... Okay, Iron Valiance. And... Urshifu. Yeah. Okay. And then we open Iron Valiant. And... you know, something like that. Okay. Beautiful, right? Something like that, right? So, And then I guess we could say, let's do a Comfy. Do I have Comfy on my computer? Yes, I do. And then Roaring Moon. Let's get... Yeah, Lost Box Roaring Moon. Right. Cheese with scissor, without... I don't know that I necessarily like having to jam the scissor in there, and also I don't feel like the so here's my problem with the cheese stick with scissor, is that I don't think that the scissor consistently one-hit KOs enough threats. It's like Goldengo just one-hit KOs everything, so why would you play a card that doesn't one-hit KO everything? I think I'd rather play a card that heals, like Cheryl. I'd rather try to, like, yeah, do that, I think. So I just don't know that it's worth it. Okay. Lost Box with Roaring Moon. Yes. Okay. That seems fine. That seems fine. If I put it in like a rogue category, then that means... Hold on, let me move Cloth out of here. If I put it in the rogue category, then that means that, like maybe I have some faith in it, right? Someone could maybe spike with it. I think Roaring Moon's nuts. Guardy's nuts. Maybe... All right, what deck do we think consistently beats Guardy? Next format. Lost Tina, I guess. How dare you put the queen in rogue, you Philistine. Wings, bodies, Gardevoir. I mean... We seriously talk about the wings, bro? Iron Valiant's gonna farm Guardy. What kind of Iron Valiant deck do you have in your mind that destroys Gardevoir? Iron Valiant with what? Iron Valiant Lost Box? That is not a real deck. I don't think. Turbo Valiant with Medicham, like, sure. But I think that stuff all loses to Roaring Moon. And I suspect that Roaring Moon is going to be incredibly popular. Do you not? Have you ever gotten your hands on Roaring Moon? Do you know how much of a rush it is to play that deck? People are going to be playing Roaring Moon. It is, I think Roaring Moon is going to be the most popular new deck. It's nuts. So then when you figure that, like, Roaring Moon is going to be very popular, that kind of like warps the meta around it, right? Gardevoir beats Roaring Moon, which is why I have it here. I think Roaring Moon's the most popular new deck, and Guardy beats it. So that's like the thesis of my list. And then that dichotomy is going to shape everything else. Because I think Roaring Moon also absolutely destroys this deck. So then that deck goes down a tier. Because this deck cannot beat Roaring Moon. Which is why Ian Robb says that Guardy is dead. Yes. So then we're looking at the decks that lose to Roaring Moon. Miraidon loses to Roaring Moon. So then you've got these decks are the ones that can compete. Because everything else loses to Roaring Moon. Yes, just like this. Why is Golden Go tier 2? Because it's sick. Because he's awesome. Because I don't want to take him off the list. But also, I don't think that he competes with like Lost Box, Guardy, Roaring Moon. Isn't Iron Hands the counter to Roaring Moon? In my mind, all right, so like Roaring Moon can go turn 1, 220 and one hit KO anybody in the Miraidon deck. More consistently than Miraidon can one hit KO anything in the Roaring Moon deck. I do think, I mean, Zorobox, yeah, I suppose so. Maybe Zorobox needs to be here. But Zorobox is inconsistent. I mean, listen. I'm probably one of the few people in this chat that's got championship points this year with Zorobox. So don't tell me I don't believe in the deck. I'm probably one of only a few. Yes, I top 8'd a League Cup with Zorobox, yes. And I got defeated by a Palkia deck. Turbo Palkia V-Star. I think I could have legitimately won the tournament if I didn't hit Turbo Palkia V-Star in top 8. Reggie's does not beat Guardy, no. That's sick, Majestic. At the time, Jolteon was not out yet, no. Rogue. Yeah. All right. So what's a control list? Anybody got like a control list from Twitter? Any of you guys seen one? All the control players are hibernating. They're not posting. And wait, there's an Oink Alone list that got 5th place at the Toronto League Cup. Who's got the post, bro? Top 32 list and adding counter catchers. All right. Thank you, Craig Jones. I don't know why it's timing you out. I'm sorry. Thank you for taking one for the team, Craig Jones. Oh, yeah. Trust Your Pilot posted. Okay. That's Japanese list. Yeah. Okay, cool. Okay. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about right here. So then you just, you just Snorlax them. Yeah. Well, that's why I'm saying that this deck, that's why I have it in tier 1. See, I told you, my thesis is that Roaring Moon's the most popular new deck and that Gardevoir beats it. Therefore, the decks that can compete with Gardevoir and Roaring Moon are also going to be high tier. I don't know that I really believe in Miraidon, but Miraidon's kind of my dog, so it's just like right around there. But I do also very much fear and believe in Lost Box decks, so they can hang out. That's for sure. Here's the Oink Alone list. I used to get 5th out of 188 at the Toronto Cup. Bro. Is this it? Got that bad boy saved on my phone. The pick on the phone. You all use your phones as notepads too. Don't play with me. You all use your phone's camera as a notepad. I know you do. Don't act like that was funny. You all do it. Many of you have taken photos of a computer screen before. Don't act like I'm the only one. I guess what? So I could go right click, save image as, save it to the desktop. And then once I saved it to my desktop, my godforsaken desktop. You really want me to add? You want me to save something else to my godforsaken desktop? That's what you want? And then I could go here, right click, share it, and then once I turn on my Wi-Fi, then I can airdrop it. See how much faster it was, bro? Airdrop it to my lovely wife. No. Where's Andrew's iPhone? There it is. Wait. I'll airdrop it to my wife. I'll just tell her to text me later. She'll love that. Or I could whip out my phone, because that's where all the lists are on my phone because I'm scrolling through Twitter and then I save it to my phone so they all go to my photo library. So then all I want is for this picture to end up where all the other deck pictures are. Boom. There it is. Yeah, my phone is where I store all my deck picks. So I just want to put this deck pick with my other deck picks. Is that too hard to understand? Yeah, this is the one I saved for later, right? Yeah, that's the one I saved for later. Cool. We got Giacomo, we got Pennies, we got the Misfortune Sisters, we got Sydney. I don't even know what Sydney does. I think it discards energy from the hand. We got this guy. This deck's got 0 energy in it. That's how you know it's broken. Yeah, this thing's nuts. Yeah, love that. And then we got the Lost Box Iron Hands. I don't know about that. That's a lot of energy to put on your hands. But I guess you're not really adding anything new. You just slot in the one Iron Hands and you're like, whatever. I power that thing up, sure. This, I'm not as much of a believer in this. I feel like they're just better cards to play. But I guess it seems fine. Like, I think I like Dragonite better. Than Iron Valiant. Yeah. And then the control list. And then no, I'm gonna draw the line in the sand and I'm gonna say Garchomp's bad. Yep. Line drawn. I don't think so. The beautiful pigs. All right, what list did I save? Did I save that list? All right, and then share. See, look at all this. You guys hating on me, so I can't. Now I have to airdrop it. My phone's not showing up on the airdrops, probably because I got a new phone. Man, so you want me to? No, it's right there. I can see it. Oh, but then it disappeared. What's going on? Or I could do this. Blammo. Got it, dude. Right. All that when I could just take a picture of the screen. Exactly. You want me to email it to myself? You want me to text it to myself? You want me to upload it to the cloud? The Chad method of taking a screenshot. Yes. Never close the tab. Just post it on Facebook. Say this is for later. Please ignore. All right, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Zapdos' tier list. He's got Lost Tina at the top. I don't think Miraidon like legitimately beats Roaring Moon consistently. And if it does, it's because it can slam Path down fast. And I guess that's why it's staying up near tier 1 for me, is because I consider Miraidon to be the best Path deck. Still. But the other good Path deck, I think, is Tina. Right? And what are the other path? So what are the best Path decks in Standard right now? I mean, they're these two guys, right? Right. And then Guardy farms Moon and Miraidon. Exactly. Guardy farms all these decks, which is why it's up there. I guess Guardy could have a tough time against these two, which is why they're so high. Mew gets farmed by this guy, so I've dropped it down a peg. Arceus decks get absolutely obliterated by this card, which is why they're not even on the board anymore. Thank you, Cursed by Ghastly, for the sub in the 34 months. And Dayshell and Chris Gold, thank you guys for those subs. If I missed you guys earlier, I apologize for that. I was probably lost in the sauce, so thank you. Dayshell, Chris Gold, Cursed by Ghastly, thank you. Huh. Behind Baxcalibur. Listen, there's a lot of people who would put this deck like up here. I'm not one of those people, so I'll put it down here. Also, do we think, does Charizard still got it like that? Like, does Charizard still have... Does Charizard still have it like that? Did Zard ever have it like that? I mean, it was always at least a tier 2 deck. So I think Charizard existing like here is fine. And I guess we have to respect Tina just because it's... So what I'm kind of like picking up... Charizard's S tier? Charizard does not beat Roaring Moon, though. Roaring Moon just goes bop, bop, bop. Delphox and Zard to hit multiple Moon. Zard bullies Guardy. Yeah. You think Charizard beats Guardy? I'm the Zard Guardy matchup. Yeah, seems 50-50 to me. Always has. Well, I think just like of the stage 2 decks, I think Guardy's the better stage 2 deck. Yeah, it's 50-50. It always has been. That's why Charizard will play like punching gloves sometimes. The problem with that summation Wasteland is I don't think that Zard beats Guardy convincingly enough to make it a true triangle. Also, all right, so what about Kyogre? Is Kyogre still in the conversation with you guys? I mean, Kyogre could certainly mess up some Roaring Moons. Or do we just think the other Lost Box variants are stronger than Kyogre now? Right, like Kyogre's probably relatively decent against Roaring Moon, but it's also less good against the hands. I don't really believe in Iron Hands, which is why Guardy is so high. I very much respect, and I think that Guardy beats Roaring Moon, and I think Roaring Moon beats these other decks. That's like the kind of... So I guess like my next kind of venture in standard format is to figure out, well, what decks beat Guardy consistently. I suppose like a Turbo Iron Hands deck might. I mean, okay, so here's the thing. Like what? You're playing Baxcalibur Iron Hands and you go like... I mean, I guess maybe, but like then you're playing a Baxcalibur deck. And I definitely don't believe in Baxcalibur. So then what's the next Iron Hands deck? Miraidon Iron Hands? And the thing about Miraidon Iron Hands is that then Guardy only has to deal with one Iron Hands. Yo, Nodstrom, you played the pig deck? We were just looking at your pig deck. Here you are. That is you. All right. We've got the pig specialist themselves. Nodstrom, what made you want to play the pig? And what do you think about the pig going forward? I mean, Path is just a good card, 100%. I love Path. Path's good. Good card, broken card. 4 Path, love it. 3 different bosses orders arts, that's chaos. Wonderful. You had a headache and you were trying to lose quickly. That didn't work out for you. Could I explain Chen Pao being so low on my list given as a good matchup into Lost Box and Guardy now? Yo, what's up, Will and Daniel? Thank you so much for the sub and the 31 months. Hopefully you're doing well. Appreciate it. All right, so my issue with Baxcalibur is that it's a stage 2, and I just don't think it's very consistent. Good matchup. Like, it has good match. So we talked about this pretty at length on the podcast. Like, isn't Chen Pao Baxcalibur with the cross switchers and all of that, isn't that deck already supposed to have a good Lost Box and Guardian matchup? Right? Mahone is a hater. A little bit, but all right. A little bit. Isn't Chen Pao Baxcalibur without Iron Hands? Aren't you supposed to go double cross with your canceling Cologne, knock out 2 guys, good matchup? Like, aren't you already supposed to have a good matchup against those decks? Iron Valiant destroys Guardian. What kind of Iron Valiant deck are we talking about? Like, your hypothetical Iron Valiant deck destroys Guardian. What hypothetical list are you talking about? We're all hypothetical here, but show me the money. What Iron Valiant deck are we talking about? I'm not saying that Baxcalibur stinks. I'm just saying it's not as good as any of these decks. Just 4 Valiants, 4 switches, 4 ropes, 4 cards, 4 Radiant Alakazam, easy. All right, and then who? All right, you want me to go look at Omni? Are you guys on the Omnipoke Kool-Aid? All right, fine, we'll go to Omnipoke. Does he have lists somewhere? This.
For today's
Shout out to Omnipoke. If you haven't checked out Omnipoke's content, some of my favorite Pokemon TCG related content on YouTube, highly recommend it. We're looking at Omnipoke's list right now. This? The other one. What other one? He had a better list. I'm literally looking at his channel. Well, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, I have the this list right here. Is this the list? Something like this? This with no auxiliary. Yeah. Win rates from last week's City Leagues. 41%. 41. I'm trying to tell you guys. I'm trying to save you. I'm trying. I'm doing my best, man. Iron Valiant, 27%. That's what I'm trying to tell you guys. And it's not from lack of people playing it. 155 with Chen Pao and a stinky 41% win rate. Why? Because the deck is bad. Iron Valiant, 27%. That's not good. Thank you, Zemku, the sub and the 13 months. Appreciate it. But actually, like, if I was really on it, I would just be telling everybody to continue playing Chen Pao, because I don't think that I've ever lost to a Chen Pao deck at a tournament. I've never lost to a Chen Pao deck at a tournament. It's always like, dang, man, I didn't get the right combination of cards in my hand. Like, that's every single time I've played against Chen Pao. Every single time. They're like, dang, man, I was one card short of doing the thing. Every single time. I was one card short of the 8-card combo. Right, like, literally. Slacking V with a question mark. 58%. What if I did lose to someone and I blocked it out of my memory on purpose? That's a possibility. It's a strong possibility. Listen, part of being a content creator is having opinions that are inflammatory. That's just part of it, okay? That's part of it. I love it when people prove me wrong. Go ahead. Having inflammatory opinions is part of the gig. Like me when I said that Miraidon EX was tier 1. That was an inflammatory opinion. And now look at us. Right? What's more fun than arguing about Pokemon cards? That's fun. That's part of the fun. Explain 2 Chen Pao in the last top 8 regional. Broken clock right twice a day. The deck beats Charizard pretty good. I'd say Chen Pao has like a pretty decent Charizard matchup. Pretty decent Lugia V-Star matchup. God, it would be so funny if I end up playing Baxcalibur at LAIC, though. Maybe. Listen. The same could be said for Miraidon. I understand the irony there. I do. Okay? I understand that people talk about Miraidon the same way I talk about Chen Pao. I get it. But guess what? Miraidon's got a regional championship win under its belt, and Chen Pao still does not. Chen Pao still does not. That's right. Until Baxcalibur wins even if it does win a major tournament, I'll probably just still keep talking that talk, you know? I mean, like, you ever seen people commentate about sports and stuff, bro? You know, I mean, it just is what it is. You got people who are just haters. Like, yeah, I'm a Baxcalibur hater. That's okay. I'm a Miraidon fan. And I'm not, it's like, and I'm never hating on any particular player. Absolutely not. In fact, the opposite. If anybody manages to win with Baxcalibur, my goodness, they're probably the best player in the world. The exact opposite. So I'm not hating on anybody. Yeah. I could see Roaring Moon in S tier, honestly. You think that there's any other decks that kind of deserve... I think Guardian Roaring Moon are like my... Those are my 1-2 right now, but I'm willing to hear some cases. What do you guys think should be S tier? And what do we think the best version of Lost Box is? Is it Tina? I mean, we have all three of these, and I do not think that Iron Hands does enough to diminish Lost Box's prominence. I don't think it does. Well, now that we've looked at the newest, now that we looked at this, Iron Valiant stocks are way down, bro. 27 win percentage, bro. They didn't win any games. It'll take time to find a good 60. That's fine, which is why I have it right here for now. Right? I mean, we're talking about kind of like, we're talking about like LAIC meta. And I think that, okay, my beef with Tina is that the deck is just as inconsistent as it's always been. I was considering playing Tina. Well, Nodstra, aren't you a little worried about like Roaring Moon just gouging your pigs? Well, I guess it's time to see if Guardy does lose to Miraidon, but then Miraidon loses to Roaring Moon. Guardy is the only deck I've found that like really, really stomps on Roaring Moon. I guess these decks, not this one. This one's too slow and inconsistent. Roaring Moon just eats it alive. I could see Turbo Lost Box beating Roaring Moon, for sure, right? But Roaring Moon stomps on... Yes, so Miraidon's got some tools against Guardy now, but Roaring Moon stomps on Miraidon. And like the thing about Roaring Moon is it's not just good. I think it is going to be very popular. Yes. Which also, like, so you got to figure, like, Roaring Moon's presence is not just another, like, tier 1 deck we're worrying about. Roaring Moon's presence is, like, a intensely popular tier 1 deck. You know what I'm saying? So in a lot of ways, I feel like Roaring Moon just kind of warps the meta around it. So then, because in order to make like a tier list chart, you have to start with like a premise, right? Like, what are people going to be immediately drawn to, and what are they going to bring? Well, I think what they're immediately going to be drawn to Roaring Moon because it's the hot new deck. It one-hit KOs everything. It's darkness type. It feels like Turbo Dark. People like that, right? And you look at Roaring Moon, 123 people playing it, right? That's pretty popular, just in the city leagues in Japan. And it's got over a 50% win percentage. That's enough. That's all it really needed. So long as it's good enough, people are going to play it. Going from listening to you talk about Roaring Moon after listening to Azul talk about it, is this a mind trip? Yes. Well, that's what I'm saying. Having opinions is fun, isn't it? That's how you end up with videos like this. He proved us wrong. See? Having hot takes is fun so long as you can admit when you're wrong. Yo, what's up, Joe? How you doing? It was a great thumbnail. It really is, yes. All right, so I think Roaring Moon is hot. I think Roaring Moon is hot, and I think Guardy's the deck that beats it. I think Chen Pao is Cope. I respect all the Lost Box decks, and I don't think that Iron Hands does enough to check them, and that they stay very strong. I think Charizard gets bopped by Roaring Moon. I think Mew gets bopped by Roaring Moon. I think this deck is definitely fraudulent. And I think this deck is interesting, and I don't know enough about it, so I don't know where to put it. But I'm going to trust that Sander does something good with it, so I'm going to put it right there. I think that Miraidon can beat Guardy, sure, but I think that Roaring Moon decimates Miraidon. I think the Lost Box decks can beat Roaring Moon. So maybe it's like this. Maybe it's flipped. And I don't hate this either. What if it's just a Lost Box world and we're all living in it? Well, this is our premise. Say our premise is that Iron Hands is mid, which me and Azul are both aligned on that. We both think Iron Hands is super overrated and mid. So if Iron Hands doesn't do enough to check the Lost Box decks, don't they just run the tables? So then that's another premise. You could say that, right? Because I do think Roaring Moon will be immensely popular and is also very good at absolutely destroying decks like Lugia and Arceus. I think those decks just like don't even exist anymore because of how much they lose to this guy, who is going to be the new popular deck. I think Miraidon still loses to Iron Hands. But I think Miraidon still loses to Roaring Moon. So then with this premise, Iron Hands is kind of good. But then what does Iron Hands actually work in? Chen Pao? Chen Pao is mid. So therefore, still here in tier 2 land. All right? And I think that, like Chen Pao, the thing is, all right, if Chen Pao drew the way it needed to draw every single game, it would be right here. But in reality, it lives right here. Right? That's like what I'm saying, right? If you draw flawlessly, then sure, you can live right up here. But I don't even believe in Chen Pao as like an archetype. I think that archetype is trash. I think it's an inconsistent pile that has to draw the stones almost all the time. I'm a hater. I don't believe in the deck at all. Now maybe I'm giving it a little bit too hard of a time and it should live right there. I'm willing for it to exist right there. That's about as high as, but it will not go to S tier for me, bro. That deck's got rare candies in it. And it is not Gardevoir. But I don't know. I just think Gardevoir, as far as the stage 2 decks go, I feel like Gardevoir can beat Roaring Moon. Roaring Moon, I think, just destroys this deck too. Does it not? Doesn't Roaring Moon just eat this alive? Where do I think Lugia fits in the meta? No. Yeah, these guys are all in the loses to Roaring Moon tier. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, bro. Do you think that Roaring Moon cares about Goodra's minus 80 damage? Absolutely not. Lost Team is not S. This is a fluid list, okay? We're just talking. I'm saying it could exist like this. It could also exist like this. Either the Lost Box decks are broken or Iron Hands does enough to check them. One or the other. I think if Iron Hands doesn't do enough to check the Lost Box decks, then they're up here. But I think if Iron Hands doesn't do enough to check the Lost Box decks, if Iron Hands doesn't do enough to check the Lost Box decks, then they're up here. If Iron Hands does check the Lost Box decks, then they're probably down a peg. I do have a lot of respect for Roaring Moon as a deck. And I think that Roaring Moon pretty much puts all of these, all of these kind of bulky 2-prize decks, Roaring Moon just puts those decks on blast. And then Guardy absolutely eats Roaring Moon alive. I think Guardy's like the best single prize deck that's not a Lost Box deck. And I think it just gets sped up a step because of the Evo TM. Yeah, I think that if I'm going to play a single prize deck, and I think Charizard will probably play like Jirachi to help compete with Lost Box, but Roaring Moon just still eats Charizard alive. What can a deck do to have a better Roaring Moon matchup? Play a single prize Pokemon. That's the thing. Anybody who is playing, a main attacker who gives up 2 prizes is going to lose to this guy. He's just going to do it better, right? And the way that you trade favorably with Roaring Moon is by playing single prizes. Single prizers. I think. So then that's why like these single prize decks, like your Lost Box decks and your Gardevoir deck, I put a lot of value in them right now because single prize fire Pokemon. I mean, yeah. Copious Tropius. Yeah, I guess. Tropius. We're talking about this guy. And that's why Lost Box could just be it, dude. Lost Box could be it. Which is exactly what I'm saying. I think some Lost Box deck is probably just still the best deck. I mean, they're going to have to be rethought. I don't know exactly, I think it's possible that we just see brand new partners in Lost Box. Maybe you've got a Lost Box deck that has Zamazenta in it. I mean, Lost Box already playing Zamazenta. I think the new Aegislash is not good. Goldengo, I believe in my Goldengo friend, but it concerns me how many Lost Box decks I have so high, which is why he's down here. I think Goldengo can probably beat. It could beat Miraidon, and probably Charizard. Listen, this is either Lost Box reigns supreme still, and Iron Hands doesn't do enough to check it, or Iron Hands does check it, and Roaring Moon and Guardy kind of reign supreme, and these are down here. That's kind of where I'm at with it. And I think it's an interesting discussion, and I don't think that there's any way to really iron out. I don't think there's any way to really iron out, how it's exactly going to go down until it does go down. Get it? Iron out. But I'm not going to lie. The idea of taking Miraidon with Iron Hands to LAIC susses me out with how popular Roaring Moon's going to be. I also wouldn't play Chen Pao into an Iron Hands meta. Straight up. Or I wouldn't pay Chien-Pao into a Roaring Moon meta. Like, playing against Roaring Moon with Chien-Pao sketches me out. But I guess maybe I just got to test that more. Maybe Chien-Pao can beat Roaring Moon consistently. Meowscarada, I guess Meowscarada does one hit KO, but that's like they one hit KO right back. But I guess, yo, Meowscarada also low key one hit KOs Charizard. Okay. Maybe Meowscarada is sauce now. I'll put it up here. You think Evo TM fixes Meowscarada? All right. I have heard that new cards are hard to get in Latin America. Yes. I have heard that before. So then maybe they'll all be playing old decks. True. So maybe the meta will be different than expected. Golden goes 64% win rate. I don't know. I think there's certainly a lot to think about here. This is my top crop of decks right here. I don't know which will arise as like S tier and which will arise as tier 1, but like I would say that this is like my top handful of decks. Like if I'm going to LAIC, these are the decks that I'm like probably testing the most and the decks that I have the most faith in doing well right now. You know, where they lie on like, you know, S tier, tier 1, I don't think that really matters quite yet, and that'll all kind of reveal itself over the course of, you know. And then I'd say that these decks I just consider like a kind of like a notch below these decks. These decks are decks I'm curious about, but that I don't have too much faith in. These are decks that I'm curious about, but don't have too much faith in. And then these are decks that I would have to... someone would have to do some serious convincing to get me to sleeve up one of these decks and give it a try. Like, serious convincing. What happened to Lost Zard? I think just Lost Roaring Moon is better. Sablezard? I just don't know why we would play Sablezard. It seems like there's so many better options now. If you're looking to get back into the game, what should you craft? Can't go wrong with... You know what? Chien-Pao Baxcalibur is probably going to be a solid archetype for a little while. You can go ahead and build that. Chien-Pao Baxcalibur. I know I'm smirking because I just can't wait for the... Listen, it's probably... Even if it's mid, it's going to still continue being mid for a while, all right? At least it's not going to get, like, bullied out of the meta. I'm just saying. All right, it's at least going to be on the chart, unlike Lugia, which is off the chart, bro. It's at least on the chart. Charizard's another good pick. Baxcalibur, Miraidon. I would pick those for, like, if you're a new player. Miraidon, Chien-Pao, Charizard. Guardy, too, but it's a little harder to play. Sablezard with 4 Vengeful Punch. Holy moly. All right, Reverend General gets it. Chen Pao is like fast food. It's not ever really good. It's not like high quality food, but it gets the job done, and sometimes it's fire. Yeah. It's like Taco Bell at 4 a.m. It's exactly what I'm looking for. Yeah. Some days I regret it, but most days it's kind of sick. Toad Scroll EX one-hit KOs Roaring Moon, and its ability prevents Frenzy Gouging from working. My God. We've done it. We've done it. That's it. Finally, we cracked the code, chat. That's right. We finally cracked it. We thought ourselves into the perfect metagame right here. But yes, these decks here would be my top picks to be putting a lot of effort into, like, week one. This is week one, right? These would be my picks to put the most effort into week one. These are decks that I keep on my table. These are decks that I'm mildly curious about. These are decks that I would need some serious convincing to sleeve up. Yeah. Someone would have to come over to the testing session and absolutely destroy, like, you know, a crop of my tier 1 decks, and I'd be like, all right, what you got going on over there? Okay. You know, if one of these decks could come in and just hose this list of tier 1 decks, then I'd be like, all right, we're playing that. But honestly, I don't think that any of these decks do hose this. No shot. Your 2 grass decks. Yo, you got the 2 grass decks ready to go. There is a suspicious lack of grass decks. I mean, and I think I heard Azul talking the other day, and he said that you know, your deck losing to one meta deck is not a deal breaker by any means. And I think that that's something that's important to keep in mind. Like, if your deck just loses to one archetype, like, that's okay. But you don't want to lose to, like, I'd say multiple in this top thing here. You don't want to lose to, like, 2 or 3 of those. That's probably pretty bad. You could take one loss, except I would say that at LAIC you don't want that one loss to be Roaring Moon, because I do think, like, I think LAIC Roaring Moons can come out the cut, and everybody playing like their Lugia and their, you know, if you're playing like Charizard, Lugia, Arceus, all that, like, you're in for a bad time. I don't know. I was playing some games of Lugia versus Roaring Moon, and Lugia V-Star never even got out. And that's the thing. So, like, if you're playing Lugia against Roaring Moon, what, you go first? Best case scenario, you get 2 Lugia V-Star out. Roaring Moon knocks one out turn 1. Then turn 2, you have to respond to a Roaring Moon if you don't one-hit KO the Roaring Moon. Then Roaring Moon's going for 2 more. The Roaring Moon list that I've been playing is just the one I posted on my Twitter, except I took out like a Judge, or I took out Judge for Brute Bonnet. I just added 1 Brute Bonnet. That's all you really need. Yeah, Snorlax doing 180 damage. It's not really it. Brute Bonnet's cool. It's kind of like occupies the same space that Pokemon Go Zapdos occupies in Miraidon. It allows you to get from 220 to 230 to one-hit KO those 230 Pokemon, like opposing Roaring Moon, Dragonites, Tyrannitars, stuff like that. But then you can also attack with it against decks like Guardy to try and force the odd prize. So it's like, yeah, Stellar Wish, you should never try to gouging a Snorlax. Yeah, no, wouldn't recommend that. All right, all right. Well, I think I've talked myself into enough circles. It's been fun. Tomorrow, we play. Tomorrow, we play, chat. And we see where things really lie. All right? The set releases on the Pokemon Trading Card Game Live at about 1 p.m. Eastern. I'll be live right about then. And then on Friday, I've got Jesse Parker coming through to do some tabletop testing. So that'll be a lot of fun. We've got a Paradox Rift-filled end of the week. Should be a great time. Thank you all so much for tuning in and hanging out. Again, stream will start probably just before 1 p.m. Eastern tomorrow because the set is being released on live at about 1. So we'll do that. That'll be fun. Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern. Tabletop with Jesse Parker. Make sure to check out fullgripgames.com for all the best Pokemon trading card game singles and sealed product. And dragonshield.com for some awesome Pokemon TCG sleeves. Supporting those shops directly supports the content that I create here on Tricky Jim. Y'all take it easy and have a good one. I'll see you tomorrow.